Greetings. Welcome to MNG Research Workshop. This is the second part of our workshop on mastering the art of writing literature review with AI tools. And in this workshop, we'll be getting into the practical details, guiding you through to see how you can best utilize AI tools in writing your literature review. One thing I just want to remind you is that AI tools are not supposed to write for you, but they are there to aid you and to guide you in developing effective literature review and also in developing your research in a more efficient and faster way. So I hope this workshop is going to help you, is going to guide you more effectively in how to do things. But after all, if there is any other issue that you might need, we'll discuss after the workshop. Thank you. Enjoy. I will let Dr. Mringa take you through and guide you through the process. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gilbert. In this presentation, we are looking at consensus. So consensus is one of the most used platforms by researchers. It is accredited by most institutions. And why? Because it produces credible sources and it is widely cited. So basically, consensus has a free version and it also has a subscription version where you can subscribe. For the purposes of our demonstration, I'm just going to use consensus, the free version consensus. So first things first, how consensus works. It works with the use of questions. So you need to ask questions. So remember, the purpose of this presentation is that we're developing a literature review using AI tools. So in this particular case, the questions that you have drawn from your literature review or from your proposal, those are your key research questions. Those are the questions that you need to import and enter into consensus. For example, I have a question that I'll enter here. Right, these are some of the questions that I've been searching. All right, so there is synthesize and there is copilot. So I'll explain briefly what this means. So if you enter a question, then you click synthesize, it would give you a summary of what scholars are saying about your topic, the question that you've asked. Copilot, it will give you a description of each and every researcher's findings. So my question, I'm going to paste my question here. Does election transparency influence economic growth? That's our working question, and we need to see what comes out. So I click enter. Let's see what comes out. So this is our screen, this is our home, this is our consensus page. This is what you see the moment you enter and run your query on consensus. So on top we have synthesize is still there, and copilot. We also have filters. Filters is for filter the year. Remember, literature has to be not more than 5 years old. So I've just run that option, the filter. So this is the literature that comes out. You see here it said highly cited. So it gives you the highly cited literature first, then followed by those that are also relevant. So if you click synthesize, this is what comes out. So it tells you how many papers were analyzed. It says 10 papers analyzed. So this is just a brief summary of what these papers are saying. It says this study suggests that transparency generally promotes economic growth by enhancing innovation, efficient resource allocation, and firm performance, and by mitigating negative effects such as oil-induced electoral budget cycles and political conflict, although one study notes a positive association with economic recession and development aid. So that's what come out. It gives you a brief idea of what the 10 analyzed papers are talking about. Right, on the right, it is 6 papers analyzed. 100% of them, they fit within the question, right, of the 6 papers that were analyzed. Moving forward, we have the first paper, 2016. Sometimes it does that. Remember, we've ended 2018, but here we have a paper 2016. It does that. So it's your responsibility to actually verify and check if the paper fits within your filters. If you click on the outcome or the outcome of each and every paper, it shows you the title of the paper, the author, the year, and if you click here, you have a citation. So depending on which citation you want to use, we have APA, Chicago, Harvard, and BibTeX. So normally we use Harvard. Then you copy your Harvard, then you export it to your Word document. Right, that's the first step. Then here we have a study snapshot. So remember, we're writing a literature review. This information is very pertinent for writing a literature review. The population, the sample size, the methods, the outcomes. If you click generate, so this one applies to those who have the premium option. If you click generate, which I'm not going to click now, it will generate this information for you, the sample size, the methods, and the outcomes. So this is the most important information that you need for developing a literature review. You need to know the purpose, the population, the sample size, the methods, and the outcomes. Here on the right, we have what you call the key takeaway. Right, so the key takeaway is in 2 forms. It could be the key finding, or it could be the conclusions that were made from this paper. Right, so what you do, remember we're developing a literature review. This is the first step. What you do here is you would copy, that is, if you're fully subscribed, you would copy this whole information that shows up here, or you come here and look at the purpose of the article, you look at the population, the sample size, the methods, and an outcome, then you copy all that information. You are copying and pasting to a document. So the first thing is you copy and paste the citation. Then after you copy the citation, then you copy and paste the purpose, the population, sample, methods, and outcomes, and the key takeaways. You go back, then you go to the second study. You take the citation, you export it to your Word document, then you go to population, sample size, methods, and outcomes, then you copy those again. You copy this information, then you copy it, then you copy again, you export it to your Word document, then you copy again the key takeaways, then you send them to your Word document. Then you repeat this sequence until all the 6 papers that were analyzed are complete. All of them are highly cited. If you need more, you click more and you get more sources, but bear in mind that the further you go down, the less relevant the studies are for you. That's what you need to do. So in the next section, I'm going to show you how it looks like after you've copied and pasted those sections. This is the sample of the summaries and citations that we extracted from Consensus. So on top, we have the citation, and this is the summary. This is just the summary. I did that for all the 6 generated and analyzed sources that emerged from Consensus. So in this particular section, what we need to do, we want to clean this up, these whole summaries leading up to the generation of theme that will follow in the next segment. So what do we do now? What we do is, depending on the referencing style that you use, we need to get the citation right. So this is our citation. In this particular case, we are using Harvard style. We place our source here. Then, because we're using Harvard, we need to make sure that our citation or our referencing style is at par with the Harvard style. So we remove the initials. They are not supposed to be initials in the reference, in the in-text. Then we use the end. We remove the punctuations. Then we are left with the authors and the sentence, but you would identify that still this paragraph is still dirty and it's not flowing. Things are all over the place. We do that. The citation, we need to export it to the referencing page. In academia or in writing, academic writing, you need to have a separate referencing page. So we take our whole citation, so we are citing as we write, we put it down, we clean here so that we have uniformity in terms of board of color. Then we move on to the next one, we copy, we place it in the beginning of the sentence. Harvard referencing, you clean it up, you remove punctuations, put this in the brackets, you make it uniform, you export this, the citation, to the referencing page. You move on to the next one. Harvard allows you to mention all these sources at the first instance, but when you mention them again, you need to use et al. In simple terms, et al. Simply refers to and others. Let's clean our reference, our citation. We use and in Harvard. We remove initials, and we are left with surnames only. You make it uniform with the rest of the text. You export the citation to the reference page. The reference page is important because it's always difficult to identify resources when you're done writing. So it's always advised to cite as you write. When you're done writing, you also have your reference list at the same time. We repeat the same process. Citation, we remove the initials, we use the correct end, brackets, then we repeat the same process, export the citation to the reference page. This is how the first step of your literature review looks like. It's very dirty. You can see the highlights, you can see all this, the grammar, you can see some areas are still highlighted in yellow. Yellow means the key findings, key contributions. So this, as it is, you cannot submit it. It's still very dirty and messy, and it needs to be cleaned up further. How do you now then clean it? That's where we introduce the issue of phrases that links the sentences and topic sentences. So how do we do that? We introduce another platform, which is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is often misused by most students and researchers. The reason being, when a person is given a task or they are given a topic to go and write a literature review, they just come to ChatGPT and write a literature review about the impacts of ABCD, or to gauge whether ABCD cause CDE. And that's often misleading, and we regard this as a misuse of ChatGPT. If you're not a good researcher and if you don't understand how to write the research process or how to write a literature review, you'll never be able to use ChatGPT. So in this particular case, I'm going to show you how to master the art of using ChatGPT, different from what an ordinary person would do. Our ChatGPT here, in this case, we're using the subscribed ChatGPT, which has a consensus in itself. So I'm going to switch right to consensus. Consensus, you would understand that's the tool we're using to generate the literature review, the literature sources, and that's the tool we use to generate the summaries and the citations for our literature review. So what we're doing here is we want to clean up the summaries that we've generated. The difference between this approach and what most people do is that the summaries that we are generating, we are cleaning in this particular ChatGPT, are from reputable sources and is research that has been done, so there is no danger of generating false or fake citations. Everything that is credible. So what we're simply doing, we're cleaning away plagiarism, which you remember that everything that we have in our summaries was copied and pasted straight from consensus. So we are employing and deploying ChatGPT at this stage so that it cleans our plagiarism. However, I emphasize that there is still a danger of AI and some plagiarism as well. So how do we clean up our summaries that we have generated in our previous section? The summaries that we've generated, what we need to do is that we need to understand the commands, the end goal. What do we need from ChatGPT consensus? What we need is that we need to have paraphrased summaries that have linking sentences and topic sentences. So that's what we do. We import our summary. We'll just do one summary. We'll import our summary. This is a dirty and an unclean summary. Then I give the commands: paraphrase, use topic sentence, and linking words. Right, then I generate. This is what comes out. If you compare what I entered on top and what comes out here, you'll find that this is a more paraphrased and more comprehensive description of what the study is talking about. As you can see from the highlighted section, this does not read right. It says Arapis and Reitano 2018. Our study spans from the year 2006 to 2012. But if you look at the regenerated section, now it has a linking sentence. The words have been changed and it reads better. So it reads Arapis and Reitano conduct an extensive study. Now you can see it reads like a literature review where somebody is actually reviewing literature that has been done by somebody else, as opposed to what we see here. It is also including the aim of the study and the findings of the study and the key takeaways that we took from consensus. Everything is included. So this literature here that we have is totally different from the literature that you just generate on ChatGPT. We enter command that generate literature about A, B, C, and D. This, we are using ChatGPT simply for cleaning up relevant literature that we've already generated from credible sources. That's why I recommend the use of consensus. After consensus, you come and clean your work on ChatGPT. However, this work is still not complete. This work still needs to be rewritten, and this work still needs to be paraphrased. So after this section, after you've done this, you've repeated this sequence for all your paragraphs and all your summaries and exporting them to the Word document, now you need to generate the themes. By generating the themes, what you need to do, you need to read through all the paragraphs, all the summaries that you have, and arrange them according to the similar meanings. Then you identify all the summaries that are talking about the same issue. They might be talking about the reasons for something, they might be talking about the causes of something, or they might be talking about the effects of something. So you generate all those summaries, group them according to themes. So each and every theme has those different summaries that are speaking to the same idea. When you are done with having that summaries that are under the same theme, you need to do the final stage. The final stage, which is the synthesizing of literature. So when this literature is like this, it is still not complete. You cannot submit it to your supervisor or to whomsoever and saying, this, I've done a literature review. This is just basic, because what you're simply doing is regurgitating what other scholars are saying. You are not synthesizing what the scholars have said. And what makes a credible and a good literature review is the synthesis of those sources and the synthesis of that literature. Until then this work cannot qualify to be a good literature review. In academic writing, the term synthesis occupies a very crucial space, particularly when we are talking about, or when you're developing a literature review. The literature review and the summaries that we've generated, they are not complete until they are synthesized. So what we have currently is the summaries of what other researchers or other scholars have said, and that does not qualify as a literature review. So synthesis now refers to the process of combining information that you get from various sources. So we take our summaries and we create an understanding or a comprehensive perspective on the particular topic. So what are we saying? We're saying, what are these scholars saying in relation to your research question? Remember, we've generated this whole section of the literature review from your research question. So that's what we're looking at. We are saying, take everything that they said, and this is where linking words come into play. You're taking what scholar A has said and scholar B has said, and say scholar A has argued this, and this is similar to what scholar C has said. Scholar B has argued this, and this contradicts the findings from scholar D. That's what the synthesis is. So synthesizing goes beyond just a mere summary of individual sources like we've done by generating the summaries. Rather, what it does, it integrates the ideas to demonstrate a relationship between information and to build a comprehensive argument and discussion. Thank you guys for joining us and participating in our workshop, day number 2, Mastering the Art of Writing a Literature Review Using AI Tools. We captured Consensus and ChatGPT for a start. So we hope you enjoyed. I'm opening up the space and the conversation for debates and discussion and question and answers. Thank you so much.